Hey guys, this is Deb with Four Seasons Crafts. Welcome. If you have been on the channel for a little bit, you know in June we're doing a series on A Fish and a Wish. So we are going to do another card. Actually, we're going to do two tonight. So let's get started. We're going to start right in. The first card we are doing is this one right here. And it looks pretty simple, right, from the outside. But when you look close up, can you see that shiny? It looks like cracked ice. So up here in Michigan, a lot of people do a lot of ice fishing. So that's what we're going to do. So this is what we need. We're going to need a piece of thick white cardstock. That's going to be our base. Then you're going to need another piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this is going to lay on the front. This is what's going to give us a layer here. So very few supplies. A scrap for us to stamp and punch some of the fish, and then you're going to need a piece of vellum. The other thing that you are going to need, if you don't have it, is some of this fine tip glue pen. This is awesome, and this is going to help make our card look a little bit more shiny. So let's have at it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull in some of these diorama dies. These are awesome. They're going to give us this nice little lake look on our sheet of basic white cardstock. So what we're going to do is we're going to just lay this on the front of our card here. So wherever you see fit, we don't want it too close to the edge or too close to the bottom. So we'll just put it right about there. I'm going to run this through. Okay, so here we are. We have our nice hole in our card. So we are going to set that off to the side for now. Now let's go ahead and stamp our fish. So we have 3 fish that we're going to be stamping, and we are going to be using the Starry Sky. This is one of the new in colors, and we are going to stamp 2 of the small fish and 1 of the larger fish. So we're going to go ahead. Okay, so we're going to take 2 of those, and then we're going to grab 1 of the medium-sized fish. And again, if I look at my punch, I'm going to want to set it this way on my paper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn this around, and we're going to stamp it right here on the end. All right. So while we have our ink out, let's go ahead and stamp our greeting here as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these waves. Now you're going to see it's pretty light here. So when we put this in here, I want to just show you, and this is something I do often. So I'm going to stamp it once. That looks a little dark, and then I'm going to stamp it again. I want that lighter version. So again, I'm going to tap it, stamp it here, and then I'm going to stamp it on my piece of cardstock. So you can see it gives me a much lighter look. And the reason is because I'm going to stamp my greeting over top of this. So let me clean up our stamps. I'm just going to use this chamois here. This is pretty easy and quick. And that way our stamping will be done. And let's do one more. So we're going to do a sea of thanks. So I'm just going to tap this and make sure my card is lined up. And then I'm just do that one more time. And I'm just going to stamp right over top of those waves. There you go. So I probably could have stamped off my waves maybe one more time, but I like it. I think it looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead now and we'll put our ink away. So we have the front of our card set except for our nice lake effect here. So let's do this. We are going to take our piece of vellum here, and we're going to start working with it. And then we'll punch out our fish and we'll be ready to go. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of vellum and you are going to crinkle it up. Literally, you're just going to make it all crinkled. Okay? So you're going to crinkle it up and then you're going to uncrinkle it. And can you see how already, see how you have all those kind of lines in there that look a little like, that look like cracked ice, right? Okay, so now we're going to see where this fits over our hole. Now I can see I have a ton of excess here. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to just cut some of that out because I don't need it quite that big. Now, when you do this, of course, you're just going to want to make sure you don't make it too small, right? So you can see right there, and I want to make sure now that it's all, there we go. So there it is. And now what I'm going to do is I am just going to adhere this to my, to the back of my card. Now, one of the things I'm just going to use some liquid glue. And again, I want to put it so that it's kind of close, but not too close, right? Because I don't want the glue to ooze out. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to press it right down on my card. I'm going to turn it over. Now, what I want to do, and again, I want to make sure that it's nice and flat. And now what I'm going to want to do is take my liquid glue here. Now, you could do this beforehand as well. It might sometimes even be better, probably, but oops, let me get the bubble out of there. And I'm going to hold this up to the camera so you can see. I'm going to run this glue along some of these cracks in my paper. And that's all I'm doing. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you can kind of get a look. And you're going to have to let it dry so that you can actually, and there you have it. Isn't that just such a neat technique? I love it. It's like ice fishing all by itself. This glue, by the way, I don't know if hopefully you guys can see that. It has this little pin in it, and you are just going to line that pin right back up in that hole and just make sure it's going in there, and then that will keep it from hardening. All right, so we'll go ahead and we're going to set that off to the side and let it dry. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our fish and our punch here, and we're just going to punch these guys right out. Doesn't take long. I will say you do get a little bit of mess from this punch, but it's not too bad. All right, and then I have one more big fish there. All right, and we'll clean up so we have one fish, two fish, right? There we go. A card to come soon, right? About one fish, two fish. All right, so there we go. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our card base. Now, you're going to see right here, this is where our card front is going to live. So we need to look and say, where do we want our two fish to kind of be visible here? And all we're going to do is glue them down. So I really like the idea that one was kind of at the bottom and one was coming out the top. So, but I wanted it to be a little bit lower there. So let's see. If we lay these down, yep, so it's going to have to be a little closer. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my liquid glue, and I'm just going to adhere this so that it pops through. And again, now that I have the one there, it'll give me an idea. You can see it kind of where it's showing through. And then we're going to take this one and put it right where it was. Again, we're just kind of eyeballing it. You can get very specific if you would like, but there you go. And again, we're still waiting for this to dry, but now we're going to take a dimensional and we're going to put it right on our small fish here. And I have some little ends. These are actually dimensionals that are left over from a paper pumpkin. So how nice is that? So you always have some nice leftovers there as well. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're just going to kind of put this fish right there off to the side. And then we're going to embellish with a couple rhinestones. And these are from the Holiday Rhinestone Basic package. I can't remember, honestly, I should know, but if this is retired or not. But it's a nice set. So if they still have them, I definitely would grab them. I think it's one of those that's just very nice to have around and very versatile. So I'm just going to take a couple and put them up here at the top by our sentiment. And then I'm going to put one down here by our fish. And there you have it. That is our first card. Now this, of course, this piece right here, I would glue this all around and then put it here. I am going to wait only because I want to be able to press down on this glued part to really make sure that it's flat all through there. Now you don't want any glue inside your little lake, frozen lake there, because obviously that would show through. But isn't that just the coolest card? I love it. Super simple. Took very little effort. So that is our first card. We're going to set that one off to the side. And hope you guys liked it. If you are new to the channel, I would love it if you would give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe. And you can hit the little notification bell if you would like to be notified when we have a new card out. So we're trying to get a little more consistent, but all right. Now we are moving on to card number 2. Okay, we again are still using our fish punch, and this is the card that we're making. Is that cool or what? I love it. I didn't put anything on in the inside yet, but that's what we're going to do. Only we're going to use it in Parakeet Party. So this is what you need. Again, pretty easy card. We're going to need a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And that's going to be our card base. Then we're going to need a piece of basic white, and that's going to be a layer. Then you're going to need some of those vellum layers, and we're using the one that has the patterns of the leaves in the background. These are, I've used them a lot. If you guys go back and look at some of the other videos, I think they are well worth it. They come already pre-cut, and they really add a lot to the card. Then you're going to need to use your circle dies, and you're going to use the very smallest circle die, and you're going to use some of the specialty 6x6 in colors. It's like the sparkle paper, and you're going to cut out a small circle. Then the next one up, you're going to make 2 circles of Parakeet Party, or whatever your card base is, you're going to make it the same color, and you're going to need 2 of those. Then you are going to take the In Color Designer Series paper for whatever color you're choosing, and you are going to punch out 6 fish, okay? 6 fish with that Designer Series paper, whatever one you choose. Then you are going to cut out 6 fish that's all white, basic white, okay? Then you need this piece, of course, which is going to go on the inside of our card. So we're going to focus on the outside. So those are the supplies that we need to make this card. So we're making a flower with our fish punch. How cool is that? So let's start first. Actually, you know what? Because we'll do everything at once. We're going to start with a circle. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is take our handy dandy fish here, and we're trimming off the tails. So we're going to take our fish, and we're just going to lob off the tails. Now, you don't need to be super neat about how you cut these tails off, okay? And honestly, too, if you want a byproduct, you know, of your fish, These would make great little leaves at either like a little bottom ocean front or for a flower. So don't feel like you even need to throw those away. You could probably use them for something. All right, here we go. So we're going to take our leaves, and what we're going to do first is we're just going to kind of lay them out here. And you're going to put them in some sort of a patterned position. And the way I did the other one is I alternated between the different patterns on the designer series paper. So every other one was white, and then I did the flower pattern, white. Oops. I probably should have done that, but I want to lay it out first just to make sure. And then I do another one that has lines, and then another white one. And I'll tell you why, because I did this before. Oh, 2 whites. And then I'm going to do a flower one and another white one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll probably, actually, I'm going to stick with that. I kind of like it. So in this case, I have some extras. Depending on how you want to do it, you could make them a little more crowded if you wanted to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some liquid glue here. And I'm just going to put it all over. And now I'm going to just take my flowers and put them right on my little round circle here. Like, and here's a good example. And you guys can probably see, like, these sometimes look a little closer. I have a few more spaces there, but I think, honestly, I don't think you're really gonna notice it. All right. Now that this is done, what I wanted to do next was you take my blending brush, which you guys will see this is yellow. I need to get more of them. So I'm breaking my own rule and using green. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm kind of a little sad this is sticky in the middle. So I think what I'm going to do is just take one of these leaves, because this is all going to get covered up, and I don't want to get I really don't want to get glue on my nice little brush here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our blending brush, we're going to tap it in there in our ink, and we are just going to go around the base of these leaves. And we're just going to swirl a little bit. We're not doing anything kind of crazy. We just want to give it a little bit of color. And there you have it. That is all we want to do. I'm going to remove this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the center and this in the center. And that is going to be our beautiful flower. Got a little glue on my fingers. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let's glue this, or adhere this on our circle in the center. But you know, it really is amazing, guys, isn't it? All the things when you think about, all the things you can do with a punch. It's pretty amazing. I love this. I really do. All right. There we have it. Now what we're going to do, we're going to use that same, we're going to keep this out. And what we want to do is basically the same thing. We just want to go around the edges here very softly, not looking for anything too dramatic, but just some color. And I'll show you why here. In our layers. All right, so there we go. So we are done with that. And we're just gonna clean up a little bit here. We kind of got a little bit of a mess, don't we? All right, let's get some of this stuff out of our way. All right, so here we are. So let me show you, if we were just to put our vellum on, I felt like it was just a little too basic. So what I thought was, let's put this piece, and then I thought, well, if we put a piece of white down and this, it looks so stark. Can you see that? So by us putting that shading on the outside, do you see how that gives it just a little more kind of dimension, doesn't it? So what we're going to do is we're just going to adhere this right on our piece of white cardstock. And again, we can put the adhesive right in the middle because we are going to cover it up. And now we're going to take our flower. We're going to add a few dimensionals to the back of it. And we're going to put that right in the center there. And I think we'll do it this way. There we go. And now we're just going to adhere this right to the back of our card. Or the front of our card, I should say. Not the back of our card. That would be funny. And then I went ahead, and hopefully I did not lose a nice little, I have a greeting here. Here we go. And we're going to adhere this right across the front. And again, we're going to pop this up on a couple smaller mini dimensionals here. Here we go. And we'll just tap that right across the center. And then we're just going to take some of our Tahitian Tide. This is that multi-pack of baker's twine. This is absolutely wonderful. And we're going to find the beginning of it here. Maybe. And we're just going to tie a double bow. I am expecting our family home any moment. So I'm kind of praying that I get through this video before they pop in. All right. And we're going to cut that. There we have it. And we're just going to adhere this bow using some glue dots. And we'll put that bow right there where we had a little bit of extra. And look at that, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? All right. And then just to give it a little bit of sparkle, we're going to add just a couple of these. I think it really adds with the larger, like the sparkle you kind of get from the center there. So we're just going to put a few of these down. And there you have it. All right, guys, those are our 2 cards. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you want to place an order, you can visit shop4seasonscrafts.com. Or you can go to 4seasonscrafts.com and there is a shop button there as well. So thanks much, guys. Bye.